How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Today we got ourselves some Pokemon rumors, leaks, news, that kind of stuff. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. I'm also waiting for a kebab to show up while I'm doing this. But yeah, so ladies and gents, what we have here is a mix of stuff, including some information about apparently a new CoroCoro that's going to be coming out. That's going to have like, I'm not sure if this is the real one. I think this might just be a bullshit one made by Mr. Billy over here. But there is apparently something actually coming, and we know this based on this post from Pokemon Memo. Now, this Pokemon Memo account is a weird one because sometimes it seems like it's got like legit info, sometimes not legit info, but here's what they say, that apparently Pokemon Winds and Waves is going to have a follow-up report scheduled for release by May 15th, aka something new, some information on the 15th of May, which that would be very nice if true. We can actually go to the website here and see what they're talking about on pkmn.com, which is a Japanese website. Now, these guys have been around for a long time, and they don't really post anything if they don't know something. But they say here, let's see. Pokemon Winds and Waves is scheduled to be released in 2027 as the latest main series Pokemon games. We already know that. The game will be released on Switch too, of course. Now, some information about this latest main series game is included in the May 2026 issue of monthly CoroCoro comic, which is currently on sale. Now, according to this, more information on Pokemon Winds and Waves is scheduled to be published in the next issue, since the next issue of CoroCoro will be released on Friday, May 15th, 2026. This means that the information of Winds and Waves will be released by Friday, May 15th, 2026. So it is possible that we're finally getting back to the good old days of CoroCoro fake leaks, which is, I cannot believe we're back to this. Now, if you guys do not know what CoroCoro is, if you've never heard of it, it basically looks like this. It's a magazine, right? Like it's basically a magazine that used to have early information. They would like share like pictures of few Pokemon maybe that were going to be in the next trailer before the trailer would come out. They would have exclusive reveals. It is basically a comic. I actually think I have a copy of this comic somewhere up there. I don't know where. It's somewhere up in my shelf, but I do have one of these comics, and not comics, but these like magazines. It's just a big old book filled with a bunch of upcoming games, anime, manga, all that kind of stuff. And Pokemon is oftentimes very much present in these. And of course, Billy here is making a joke out of it, but again, they seem to here be talking about it genuinely being something. Again, I could be wrong here, but here's what they say. Therefore, although there is a possibility the information will be first revealed in CoroCoro, the pattern of CoroCoro being the first to release the latest information on the main series Pokemon games has disappeared recently, which is true. They used to be the biggest guys for this. They'd get official info, and they'd be the first ones to release it, and then somebody always would get their hands on the early leaks of it, so we'd call it CoroCoro leaks, because the CoroCoro magazine would come out on a specific day a week, but because the magazine comes out on a specific day, somebody would leak the pages featuring the Pokemon information ahead of time. So for you guys who are new to this community, who have not been around long enough, who do not know about all this, that's basically a TLDR on that information, in case you were curious what I was referring to, or if you don't know what I'm talking about. But there you go, now you know. So it seems like the information on Winds and Waves will be released by some other method, such as an update to the official website by Friday, May 15th, 2026, which actually, if you think about it, that's a month away. But also, May is usually a month where we do get official news. However, the problem is that with this game coming out in 2027, most likely late 2027 is still what my expectation is. It's going to be late next year. If that is the case, that's really, like, bad in terms of information and news, because I don't know if we're going to get any news in May, because they're going to probably do the same thing like ZA. If you guys remember with ZA was revealed in 2024. At the beginning of 2024, it was revealed. And then we got nothing. No news whatsoever for an entire calendar year. Nothing. Not a single piece of news dropped for an entire year until the next year in 2025. So last year in Pokemon Day is when we finally got some actual news for ZA. And then an actual like, news cycle started happening, right? Like we had our May and June, updates. We had a trailer, we had August with an update, and etc. September, all that. Like then the actual updates became frequent, but that was in the year that the game was releasing. However, in 2024, when they announced it, we got nothing. So I think it's going to be the same situation here. They announced the game in 2026. We get no info. We only got that one trailer. That's all you get. You get nothing else. That's all you get. And then you got to wait an entire year for the next trailer, update, whatever else, which, to be fair, is not that weird if you look at other franchises. I think Pokemon is the one where we have this expectation of constant news, because they usually deliver a game every year. So when they're not delivering a game, we kind of just expect them to at least drop a trailer, drop some info, drop anything. But they tend to be very slow with it, very, very inconsistent. And I think a lot of us are spoiled because in the past, if you guys were a fan and back in the day, they used to give us a lot of info. We used to get like a trailer every single month for a long time. They used to drop like a trailer revealing 1 or 2 new Pokemon like every month or so before a game would come out, right? Like they'd reveal a game in like the beginning of the year for Pokemon Day, and then we'd have an entire year worth of like information and news slowly dripping out to us. Shit, if you were around back in the day, you might remember we got demos as well. We got demos for like Sun and Moon and stuff as well. So, or Oras as well got a demo, and that was great, but they don't do that anymore. And the news now is very just like spoon-fed to you, like very, very, very like little trinkles of information. But yeah, either way, incidentally, as seen in the aforementioned first reveal video, the only information that has been released about Winds and Waves is information on the starter Pokemon, the main character, and the appearance of a special Pikachu. Recently, major Pokemon-related announcements have often been made at Pokemon Presents. However, since Pokemon Presents was just held at the end of February, it seems unlikely another one will be held before May 15th. True. On the other hand, the next comprehensive Nintendo Direct is speculated to be held in June, which is true, according to, I think Nate the Hate said that, so that's always possible. I mean, I have to look it up though, but I think he said that. But yeah, either way. So, however, either way, since Pokemon Presents was just held, we know that it's most likely not going to happen, you know, on, like another one. But either way, they say, which corresponds to the old E3 period. However, this year, there was no February event as is customary. So yes, there was no February Nintendo Direct, which normally does happen. There was none of that. And there hasn't been one for a while. So it's possible that we might be one held around early May 2026, where further information on Pokemon Wind and Wave might be revealed. Which, yeah, we will have to wait and see. But again, I'm very curious to know more about this. Are you guys expecting to see some news on the 15th? I'm very much expecting it at this point, given this post and all that. So I'm very curious to see what's gonna, you know, show up if anything does show up. So yeah, very, very curious. Also, it's kind of a cool little thing that people noticed. Hoodlum Callum specifically saying here, this is such an obvious Pokopia hint in hindsight. Love that they do it, and it's the fact that if you played the DLC of Pokemon. Pokemon, whatchamacallit, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the DLC, the Indigo Disc, you have this, like, thing you can do where you can find these Dittos that are shaped like cubes, and yeah, it's literally a hint towards Pokopia all the way back then. Also, there was this tweet that somebody shared to me. I forget who sent this to me, but either way, basically, it was somebody asking Ball Guy, who is a known leaker, asking me if you saw elements of the story of Pokemon Winds and Waves, of course, is Winds and Waves story good, or does it appear to be good? One of my biggest worries so far is that we get a bad story with barely any depth. And then he says, similar to Titan. Then he also says that Champion plays a larger role with Legends and Seed. Now, what he's talking about here is the champion of the story, right? The champion in the plot of Winds and Waves is going to be more important. Is going to play a larger role with the Legends, and also when he says Seed, he's talking about the Seed Pokemon, which if you do not know, the Seed Pokemon in Winds and Waves is supposed to be this like new Pokemon that's supposed to serve essentially as a Pokemon that can kind of that will evolve differently and change how it looks and stuff based on how you play the game, right? How you as the player interact with the Pokemon and stuff. It will change how it looks. So it's like your own little Tamagotchi, if you know what that is. My own opinions aren't important, but I think it is a clear narrative improvement and will feel akin to more linear games. So there you go. It's going to be apparently, I guess, better story than Scarlet and Violet, which I think Scarlet and Violet actually had a pretty all-right story for a Pokemon game. Like actually an all-right one. I don't think it's as peak as like Black and White or anything, but it was all right. Also, for the love of God, do not like do not believe these fake AI trailers. Like, I've been sent a bunch of these. These are just AI generated videos, which are not real, by the way. Just fake. They're just using existing footage and then just plugging that into an AI and asking it to make fake stuff. It looks awful. It just looks terrible. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. PKMN Leak. I'm sorry, brother, but this is just disgusting. This one, if this was just an image, this could have maybe caught me off guard for like a second, but it wouldn't have made any sense because why are the two trainers here? Like it's like the same character. Like why would they both be there unless like they're doing a Brendan May type thing, you know? But I kind of doubt they're gonna do that. I think they're more likely to do like a, you know, there's a main character and then there is like actual rivals, and the main character doesn't show up, the opposite main character doesn't show up in the game, which because they don't do that much anymore, as far as I can remember at least. But yeah, it's bad. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because I know some of y'all are gonna gonna be probably sending that my way, because I already got that sent my way a few times, and I have to keep saying, guys, it is fake. Stop sending it to me. But anyway, next up though, Pokemon Night Out is happening, by the way, which is supposed to be like some sort of event, like a literal party event, with a bunch of artists like Marshmallow and stuff. Here you can see Marshmallow is going to be performing. So yeah, there you go, for Pokemon 30. This is like their way of celebrating. It's what it is. Also, Billy Delace Brout, Mr. Leaker himself. Now, this person is a bit of a... he's a bit like... iffy, because sometimes he's like he likes to troll and post a lot of shit posts, which kind of makes it confusing knowing exactly what he's talking about. But he did say don't expect Winds and Waves news this year, which again emphasizes this idea of what I was saying earlier, which is I don't think we're gonna get any more news this year. Even this 15th of May rumor, I want to believe in my heart, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we are kind of I think we're done for, boys. I think we're cooked. But I digress. Also, this is supposed to be a hint for a new bird Pokemon. So, Ball Guy tweeted, fly, Sato, fly. And then he also said it's a new basic Pokemon. And if we just look up Sato here, I think, let's see, meaning. I think in Japanese it should mean something. It's the most common surname in Japan, held by OK. It's, the word also translates to village, hometown, or countryside, which... I don't know, could mean a lot of things. I cannot really see if there's any other connection, but yeah, there it is. That is going to be a new flying Pokemon. I guess new flying fish Pokemon? Actually, there are those flying fish. Like, I don't know if you guys know, there's like these fish that can actually fly. So that would be an interesting like concept. I'm totally on board of it. Also, Billy literally says embodiment of winds and waves, which I guess makes sense then. Winds as in it can fly, but also it can swim because, you know, it's a flying fish. It's a fish that can fly and also swim, which is literally the embodiment of winds and waves. It can go up into the winds and down into the waves. It just makes total sense. But yeah, also, here is Soul, who has this bit of a theory on it. It says, potential Pokemon leaks. You know Sato, but do you know Chunky Sato? Maybe some of the biggest Winds and Waves news we may get this year. Maybe this is a tease to our first leaked Gen 10 Pokemon. Flying fish are stunning. To be honest, this is one of my least favorite Betamons, but if they reworked it, which they probably will, let's be honest, yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. It makes total sense, dude. And also, for a man called Soul Silver Art, we don't see enough art from you, man, so it's nice to see him draw something. It's very nice to see him draw some stuff. Very, very nice. But yeah, that again confirms that we have at least one new Pokemon confirmed. Also, another thing, according to Billy, the Pokemon Detective Pikachu 2 movie, the sequel, is apparently canceled. According to Mr. Billy over here, apparently it's never going to happen. So in case you were wondering or waiting for that, sorry to burst your bubble. It just ain't happening. It's just, it's finito, it's done, it's donezo, it's bye-bye, it's goo-goo gaga, not happening, okay? It's simple as that. It's just, we ain't getting that second Detective Pikachu 2 movie, which actually makes sense, because if you look at the amount that it made, it broke even, but it didn't really make a lot of profits, right? Because, the movie cost a decent chunk to make as well, and it just wasn't mega profitable. Like, compared to, like, the Mario movie, which made, like, $1 billion or something, I as far as I'm aware, the Detective Pikachu 2 movie just didn't do shit in comparison, right? It just did not do that well. So I kind of doubt they're going to do another one, and I hope they go back to just doing the regular Pokemon animated movies, like the, you know, just the ones with Ash and whatnot. I mean, of course, Ash is not around anymore, but if they do one with Liko, whatever, as well, that could work, in my opinion. I just think I want them to bring back the animated Pokemon movies, not like the live action stuff. There is still the Netflix show that's being made. There's a Netflix show about Trainer Red that is being made, so there is at least that. But yeah, I think I've summarized most of everything. I've tried not to post too many videos about like small individual stuff just to waste your time. Unless you guys, of course, want me to. If you want me to just make videos about every little tiny little rumor that comes out, I could do that. Just let me know in the comment section down below. I just didn't because I thought, I'll just wait until I collect a little bit of more stuff and then I'll make one. So that is that. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.